Today, we're cracking open the playbook of a Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, at a modern bank. We're going to see exactly how they're fighting the bank heists of the 21st century. So let's dive right in. Yeah, forget the ski masks and the getaway cars. The modern bank robbery, it happens silently, through lines of code. And it targets the digital heart of our entire financial system. The scale, the speed, the sophistication, it's a whole new ballgame. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? It's not about physical safes anymore. The real fight is to protect the data, the apps, and the incredibly complex digital ecosystems that run modern finance. So where does a CISO even begin? Well, the first line of defense is the product itself. We're talking about the mobile banking app on your phone, the web portal you use, the payment platforms. These are the new digital vaults, and they have to be absolutely impenetrable. Just look at the potential cracks in that digital vault. You've got your everyday application bugs, weak authentication, which is basically like leaving the key under the doormat, and data that isn't encrypted properly. You've even got these little Trojan horses in the form of vulnerabilities that get brought in by trusted partners. And in a race to push out new features, these security gaps can pop up way too easily. Okay, so how do we get from just patching holes to actually building an unbreakable wall right from the very start? Well, it takes a pretty fundamental shift in strategy. The playbook really has three core layers. First up, security by design. This just means security isn't some afterthought. It's baked into the blueprint from day one. Next, you've got security by default. This means the safest settings are already turned on. You don't have to opt in. And finally, security by demand. Now, this is the really clever part. It's an adaptive system that automatically raises the shields when it spots higher risk, like asking for more proof that it's you before you move a big chunk of money. All right, let's shift gears to the next major frontier, artificial intelligence. You know, AI is both a powerful new security guard, and it's also a potential new backdoor for attackers to sneak through. And the risks here are incredibly tricky. Attackers can actually poison the data an AI learns from. They can try to steal the AI model itself, or they can inject tricky prompts to fool it. And beyond those direct attacks, you've got these inherent risks, like the model hallucinating false info or making biased decisions. All of that needs very careful management. So this is the central challenge, right? A CISO has to protect the AI while also using its power for defense. So how on earth do they do that? Well, the strategy is twofold. First, you have security for AI, which is all about defense, locking down the AI models and their data. But on the flip side, you have AI for security, and this is about offense. It's about using AI as a super intelligent analyst that can spot fraud patterns no human could ever catch and respond to threats in milliseconds. The key here is that AI isn't just a risk to be managed, it's an incredibly powerful weapon to be wielded. Okay, so the bank's products are secure and its AI is tamed. But what about all the partners, the vendors, and the third-party software that it relies on? You know, a fortress is only as strong as its weakest wall. And in the digital world, that wall stretches far beyond the bank itself. The attacks here are just so insidious. They come disguised as legitimate software updates from vendors you trust, or they sneak in through vulnerabilities in open-source code that millions of people use. An attacker doesn't have to break down the front door if one of your trusted suppliers can just open a side window for them. So, with threats hiding inside software you're supposed to trust, how do you verify what you're actually letting into your fortress? Well, one of the key tools is the SBOM, or a software bill of materials. Honestly, just think of it as a detailed ingredients list for every single piece of software the bank uses. It lets them know exactly what's inside and check for any known problems. This tool is part of a bigger, two-pronged strategy. The first part is verifiable trust. Basically, don't just take a partner's word for it. Verify it with things like SBOMs, audits, and a zero trust policy, where nobody gets access by default. The second and equally important part is collective defense. This means financial institutions and their suppliers all work together, sharing information on threats and running joint security drills, because no single bank can defend the whole ecosystem by itself. So let's bring it all together. Securing the product, taming AI, and defending the supply chain, these aren't separate jobs. They're three interconnected pillars of a single, unified fortress strategy. When you lay it all out like this, you can really see how the fortress strategy works. Product security protects the core, AI security lets the bank innovate safely, and supply chain security protects the entire ecosystem. Each pillar supports the others, and that's what creates a truly resilient defense. At the end of the day, a CISO's job isn't to say no to new technology. It's actually to build a foundation of security that's so strong the bank can innovate faster and more safely than ever before. Security, when it's done right, becomes the very bedrock of growth and customer trust. So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question. We've seen the CISO's playbook for today's threats, but the attackers? They are always evolving. In a world of instant payments, decentralized finance, and even smarter AI, the next great digital bank heist is already being planned. The real question is, where will it come from?